Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy vowed on Friday to stay in Kyiv as his troops battled Russian invaders, who are advancing toward the capital in the biggest attack on a European state since World War II. Russia launched its invasion by land, air and sea on Thursday following a declaration of war by President Vladimir Putin. An estimated 100,000 people fled as explosions and gunfire rocked major cities. Dozens have been reported killed. U.S. and Ukrainian officials say Russia aims to capture Kyiv and topple the government. Russia on Thursday seized the Chernobyl former nuclear power plant north of Kyiv, along the shortest route to the capital from Belarus, where Moscow has staged troops. The enemy has marked me down as the #1 target, Zelensky warned in a video message. My family is the #2 target. They want to destroy Ukraine politically by destroying the head of state. Putin says Russia is carrying out a special military operation to protect people, including Russian citizens, subjected to genocide in Ukraine. In accusation the West calls baseless propaganda. Asked if he was worried about Zelenskyy's safety, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told CBS, "To the best of my knowledge, President Zelenskyy remains in Ukraine at his post, and of course we are concerned for the safety of all of our friends in Ukraine, government officials and others." A democratic nation of 44 million people, Ukraine is Europe's biggest country, by area after Russia itself. It voted for independence at the fall of the Soviet Union, and has recently stepped up efforts to join the NATO military alliance and the European Union. Aspirations that infuriate Moscow. Putin denied for months that he was planning an invasion, even as the United States warned an attack was looming and shared satellite images of Russian forces massing on Ukraine's borders. The United States, Britain, Japan, Canada, Australia and the European Union on Thursday unveiled more sanctions on Russia on top of those imposed earlier this week, aiming to freeze the country's banks, government and elite out of the global financial system. Russia is one of the world's biggest energy producers, and both it and Ukraine are among the top exporters of grain. War and sanctions will disrupt economies around the world already facing a crisis as they emerge from the coronavirus pandemic. Washington and other NATO members have sent military aid to Ukraine, but there is no move to send troops to fight alongside Ukrainian forces for fear of sparking a wider European conflict. Zelensky said on Friday that 137 military personnel and civilians had been killed in the fighting so far, with hundreds of others injured. Ukrainian officials had earlier reported at least 70 people killed. Some 90 km 60 miles north of Kyiv, Chernobyl has been taken over by armed forces without identifying marks who disarmed a Ukrainian military unit guarding the station, Ukraine's state nuclear regulator said. The regulator said there had been no casualties, that nothing had been destroyed, and that radiation levels were unchanged. It informed the International Atomic Energy Agency that it had lost control of the plant, it added, with heavy fighting being reported on multiple fronts. The United Nations Security Council will vote on Friday on a draft resolution that would condemn Russia's invasion and require Moscow's immediate withdrawal. However, Moscow can veto the measure, and it was unclear how China, which has rejected calling Russia's move an invasion, would vote. The invasion has drawn protests in the United States, Europe, and within Russia itself, where authorities detained hundreds of demonstrators who took to the streets on Thursday.